The International Criminal Court and Drone Warfare in Ukraine by Thomas Smith. Why did I choose this topic is I have law school aspirations. After I finish school, I plan to move on to law school, and a very, very big ultimate goal would be to do something with the International Criminal Court or do something within the world of crimes against humanity. Another reason why I chose this topic is this is such an extremely important world issue. There is a current crisis going on in Ukraine and Russia, with drone warfare being a very prevalent issue that we're going to need to talk about moving forward because there's going to be so much more and technology is advancing even more and more. It also brings up a larger issue for the International Criminal Court about the fact that there are new developing technologies and what should be legal, what shouldn't be legal, what is a crime against humanity, what is being used for a specific purpose. It's a very large issue for the International Criminal Court, and they take a leadership role in trying to help develop that. Another reason is it's also just very interesting. This is a very big, important world issue. There's a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of things that are going to be debated and talked about. So it's just a very interesting topic to talk about. But what is the history of the organization? Well, it was founded in 1988, according to the Rome Statute, which was agreed upon between multiple countries. But it was formally established and opened on July 1st of 2002. It was created to address human rights violations and active governing body of international law. It was meant to work together with the courts that already existed, but also be able to be there when there's large human rights issues and it governs something of international law. It's also the first international court that was ever established, and it's currently headquarters in The Hague, Netherlands. The current mission of the court is that the court is participating in a global fight to end impunity, and through international criminal justice, the court aims to hold those responsible accountable for their crimes and to help prevent these crimes from happening again. It takes a very preventative role. It's punitive, but it's also preventative. They want to look to fix what's going on in the future. By prosecuting atrocity crimes, the court holds perpetrators accountable, deters future violations, promotes justice, and gives a voice to victims. It works with other international organizations to address certain issues. Such an example, it is working very closely with the UN to help deal with the issue in Ukraine. And there are very other important international organizations that are also working in Ukraine. That's where I'm working with the International Criminal Court. The court was actually made to be complementary to existing courts. It was only ever meant to take over if it was a crime against humanity or a certain government actually couldn't do the court case themselves. The International Criminal Court was meant to exist and support and be able to take over when it needs to. So, what is the current issue going on in Russia and Ukraine? Well, specifically with drone warfare, there's many questions like, what is the legality of this? Who's accountable for the drones? Is it the person flying it? Is it the person who ordered the drone to be flown? What about the use of AI drones where nobody's using them, but they're attacking targets? So, there's a lot of questions that are bordering the line of legality and safeness and stuff like that. Another very large issue and probably more prevalent itself is actually the use of drones to attack power grids and infrastructure, because it brings up the question of what is civilian and what is military. If they're attacking specific power grids and different infrastructure that are typically supporting civilians more than military, is that a war crime? Especially when we're talking about the uses of drones. And the reason that there's no specific answer on this is because the court's still debating this topic. It's not very deep. It's not very indulged. They also have to talk about Russia's accountability. There are Iranian-made drones, but Russia's using them. So is Iran more in trouble for supplying them, or is Russia more in trouble for using them? There's a lot of accountability that is going to be taking place. So the current, like we talked about the issues. So what are some past works that have been done in this topic? Well, these are the only two that I could actually find. There really wasn't too much on this topic. The International Criminal Court is dealing with an issue that is developing and is brand new. It's not something that's going to be super brought together and done part of. But so far, they've started with the Israel and Palestine conflict. It's still actively being investigated because the conflict is still continuing. One big thing they were talking about was the Israeli sniper drone. What it was for is it was a drone that would go up to the sky. It was loaded with a single bullet or more and would be used to actually eliminate targets, which there's a question of, was it civilian targets? Was it military targets? It's a larger question of, there's a drone being used as a weapon now. With the United States and the Taliban, it's an ongoing investigation. The United States claims they're using them for counterterrorism issues. So there's different issues where, if they're using them for counterterrorism, is it still illegal? And there's a lot of questions pertaining to the area. So the current steps the court's taking to answer these questions are they're investigating things such as the invasion into Russia and Ukraine itself. They're investigating the use of drones and new tech. Talking about, like I said before, where they're talking about what's civilian, what is and military. There's a lot of questions, and the court is investigating to define them. So it's important that the court is looking to define new norms for the world. It's something that hasn't been tapped into. It's new technology. There's different accountability with the technology. What is going on in that sense? But the court also is playing an important role with things like victim support. They're working to get victims their rights, helping them with what's going on, doing stuff for testimonies down the future when there needs to be people talking, or anything that involves victim support. They do it very similar to like the victim witness services in the state of Pennsylvania work. They do that kind of internationally. They also have some things like they're going to have post-war authority where they're going to be able to issue warrants for different people. They're going to be able to have the cases, have restitution heard, be able to punish these people for the things that are going on, and ultimately defining the new norms of the world when it comes to technology and drone usage and different things going on. So, in conclusion, the court is long established and has a good foothold in the world, and especially with investigating crimes against humanity, they're kind of taking a leadership role in attacking the issue. It is something that is very prevalent, but that the court is working super hard to like do and define these new norms. The court's diving into a new area that's just so untapped, and and now they're actively investigating it while new technology is still coming out. The court has a lot left to do, but in the end, they're going to make sure there's justification once this is over. There is new norms, it's defined differently, and they can work on preventing this in the future. Thank you very much.